Hi, my name is George Jones, and today we're going to talk about the proper way to hold drumsticks. Okay. Um, for me, good technique holding drumsticks is very important um, for a lot of reasons. One being that if your technique is good, you're going to play better. You're going to play with ease and comfort. I've seen a lot of really good drummers holding drumsticks incorrectly from what I was taught or what I worked on. And just when I teach my students, I want them to have the best technique possible because the better the technique, again, the easier it's going to be for you to play. You're going to play longer. You're going to play cleaner and not be as tired. Okay. Me being a self-taught player, didn't know anything about that until I got to college and I started watching and reading and listening and learning. And until I got the proper way to hold a drumstick, changed my playing forever. So, what I usually do is I have the student place the drumstick in the palm of the hand like this. And I usually have the drumstick in the first joint of the index finger or the forefinger. Okay? Then you take your thumb and place it over that, not completely flat, but maybe like the first third of your thumb. And you don't want it like this either because that can cause you tendon problems. You know, you're holding the stick, you start to grip it tight, it shoots pain straight up to your arm. Not fun. Okay. So then I'll have them roll the stick in that joint. Now, what this area is called a fulcrum, okay, or a pivot point. Fulcrum is Fulcrum. It's basically a pivot point, and that's what this stick is doing in that area of your finger. It's basically pivoting around, okay. Then the other three fingers follow suit. Now, I usually leave about an inch to an inch and a half, maybe, in the back. If you start to choke up on the stick too much, you don't get as good of, you don't have the leverage, and you don't get the bounce. The whole idea is to make that drumstick work for you, okay? Bounce, for bounce purposes. Same thing in the right hand, okay? And I use something called a palms down technique, okay? To have the palms down, okay, your fingers help to control the stick as you see here. I see guys doing this, stuff like that. Well, you're playing like that, guess what? Bye-bye drumstick, okay? Not good. Okay. So, the palms down, we have our grip, index finger, first joint, thumb perpendicular, okay, meaning this way, and the fingers that way, okay? And if you turn the sticks, if you have your palms in front of you like this, and the sticks are straight, when you turn your hands over, look what happens. They go right to the center of that drum. Beautiful thing. We play right in the center. Why? That's a sweet spot. That's where we're going to get the most sound out of the drum. Okay. Some people like to use a traditional grip. Now, when I was coming up in my younger days, I used this grip also. Um, one reason where this comes from is from the days of the old marching band where you had the snare drum strapped to your body and you had a leg brace. Well, the drum was tilted like that. Okay, and you marched and the drum would move up and down. Well, this was kind of awkward. Your elbow was out. Okay, so they started using this, and it became, well, actually, this was before what we call a match grip, where both the hands are evenly matched as far as the grip. And so this was called a traditional grip, and it just made it easier to play the drum. Your arm was flatter. Okay, so you had that. Big problem here doing it this way, as I said before. Okay, you're going to hit rim shots, your elbows sticking out. You're trying to make the stick work in a very awkward position. Okay, so that's where that came from, and a lot of guys still use that today. Okay, and even I myself sometimes, depending upon the music, I might get better ghost strokes this way. And usually for this, I'll have the butt of the stick about 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches in between the thumb and the index finger, and placing my thumb on the first joint or somewhere near that first joint of the index finger. These two fingers, I usually will have the stick fall in between, well, on the outside of the first joint here. So that's where my bounce control would come from, right inside here. And a lot of times, doing this for many years, you develop a callus here, which is actually good because after a while it starts to burn a little bit. Some guys play down in this area. It doesn't work that well for me. I like it a little bit more to the front of the fingertip, get a little more control and articulation. Now with the match grip, I find that I get more power. Okay? And again, if you notice, my palms are down. Now, you can play with your palms facing each other, but you can still use what I call a palms down attitude, because sometimes when I'm going around the kit, I will turn my hand this way. But the attitude is still palms down, meaning that these fingers are going to control that stick against my palm like that, okay? Okay? And when I'm playing my ride cymbal, usually I'm this way. But when I'm on the bell of the cymbal, I'm palm down. But if I turn it, palm facing me like this, I still have the palms down attitude, okay? Meaning that I'm looking for that control that I have this way to work for me this way. Personal preference again, but for me, this really works. I teach all of my students that. All the ones that have come to me with bad technique, once I teach them the palms down, in the proper way to hold the drumstick for good technique, they're happy and just playing great.